What's up, y'all? Welcome to another review by Ryan, and a happy Friday to all of you. It is Friday, September the 2nd, the end of the work week. I hope you all have had a wonderful week wherever you're at in the world and find this reaction in good spirits and good health. Apologies, this video will be getting out probably not until very early Saturday morning, a little overnight, as I was at a work function at the time and just got home from that. So, in this reaction, we'll be reacting to the 10th episode of Rent-A-Girlfriend, the second season. The title of today's episode is Ring and Girlfriend. Before we start today's reaction, and this will be the last video that I publicize this in, those of you who've been keeping up with my YouTube channel and any of my other channels that I keep these videos on will know that there is a new reaction that was added to the mix this past weekend. It is a show that's by A1 Pictures. It's an original and a show that I did not anticipate I was going to enjoy even close to as much as I did. That show is Licorice Recoil, the show that has taken the entire summer anime world by storm and has stood alone, almost solo, the entirety of the summer season, with really the exception of this week and maybe one other week. So I am reacting to this show starting with the ninth episode, and I will be reacting for the remainder and duration of the season. So please feel free to check the show out. This will be my last reminder about that, and I do hope you all enjoy the reactions and are enjoying the show up to this date. So, Rent-A-Girlfriend Season 2. And I'm actually, the ninth episode, how I felt about it. So, I actually have a little alcohol in my system. I was at a going away gathering for a good colleague of mine who has moved on to bigger and better things. And so, because of that, I was drinking. And thanks to drinking, I am a lot more calmer. Well, I'm a bit more settled when it comes to talking about this show. Everyone has their different responses to alcohol, and a show like this, sometimes you kind of have to drink. And I will say that last episode was definitely one of those episodes that definitely glad I had a quick drink there too. Had a couple more tonight, but I tend to always have a drink before this show because without it, I'll never make it through each episode. As you all know, last episode was a complete train wreck. It was absolutely destructive, and it went about as well as we can expect it to be. Obviously, Kazuya's grandma found out about Chizuru's birthday passing, so she wanted to do a function where she celebrated both Kazuya's birthday. Of course, he's now 1 year older, which means he's now gone 3 years back because his level of maturity is abysmal at best. And she wanted to celebrate her birthday also because she loves Chizuru to death. Of course, all these conversations were more or less heard, or at least the birthday plans were heard by none other than his actual girlfriend, which is Ruka, which ended up resulting in Ruka deciding to invite herself to said birthday. So we ended up having an episode of absolute chaos and destruction, which ended up with Chizuru abandoning her grandmother at the hospital to entertain this waste of space of a guy, and then ultimately ending the episode with Ruka giving him an incredibly big smooch on the lips, trying to stake her territory after she realized that Chizuru was there and that all the work that she put in last episode to basically put herself in a better image than any other girl that may be involved with him, in front of the family's eyes at least, that she would have a better chance. So how I felt about last episode is pretty much how I felt about the entire season. I'm honestly tired. I'm actually really tired. So, and I'm tired for everyone. I'm tired for Ruka. I'm tired for Chizuru. I'm tired for Sumi, and Sumi barely ever shows up on screen. And the reason at the end of the day comes down to what I've said each week, each and every time when it comes to Kazuya. His indecisiveness, his inability to make decisions that will benefit everyone in one way or another, and his just overall lack of maturity has resulted in what Ruka did and why we are where we're at. We should never be in a situation at this stage in the game where Ruka's thinking that she even remotely still stands a sliver of a chance at being able to mark her territory. Now, one of my friends says, she needs to learn boundaries. And my thing is, I think she has plenty of boundaries because, this girl who is supposed to be his significant other, is supposed to be his girlfriend, the one that he's giving a trial relationship to, which, might I note, he still has not terminated said trial relationship, is continuing to suck it up while he continues to have dates with Chizuru, as he again groveled on the ground at the beginning of the season doing so. And honestly, I hold no blame against Ruka for her actions. She is absolutely sick and tired of this crap. And I think if you had put yourself in that boat, which I pray that none of you females and none of you guys equally put yourself in a situation like what Ruka's put herself in, just don't do it, because it's an unfair situation. It's a crappy situation. You know, she's conceded she's given a lot of concessions when it comes to Chizuru, even knowing the circumstances. But at this time, of course, she being the actual girlfriend who still thinks she has any type of chance with them, is going to want to make a favorable impression with the family. So, you know, I put all blame on him. I'm honestly mad at Chizuru for leaving her grandma in the hospital. Let him suffer and just be absolutely ungreat in everything, because I don't think that he deserves the time of day that Chizuru gives him, and I don't think he deserves the time of day that Ruka's trying to give him. Ruka is honestly a really good girl, and I think that yes, she can be clingy, and yes, you need to bring that up in the early stages. But one thing about Ruka is, as long as you're staying faithful to her, she absolutely has always appeared to me to be a girl who will actually be open and listening, as long as you're not doing something that is less than trustworthy and, again, not being faithful. So Ruka is more or less a relatively predictable person to deal with. She's an easy person to deal with in that sense, but now she's just frustrated, and of course someone of her personality and being the youngest out of all the girls present is going to act out, and she's acting out. And unfortunately, she's acting out because there's been no boundary put into place. Nothing has been set in stone what should and should not be done. And at the end of the day, this all falls to Kazuya just absolutely wasting everyone's time, wasting Ruka's time, wasting Chizuru's time, and has now created this complete mess that we saw that resulted at the end of the episode. So, and I want to say one thing too about Chizuru. So, you know, I was very vocal with not only my in real life good friend, but many people that I talked to about this show in online forums at the conclusion of the first season. And in one of those things I said that while I held Kazuya to a lot of blame, I also kind of got a little bit on Chizuru for her overall indecisiveness of trying to figure out how she wanted to process what was going on with Kazuya, since, as has been noted by both Mommy and Ruka, she has definitely gone well over the boundaries of just being a rental girlfriend. But I will say that all of those gripes that I said about Chizuru are completely gone now. They're completely eradicated. I don't have really any of those gripes anymore, because what we've seen this entire season is, while it has definitely been Ruka handling all the heavy lifting when it's come to dealing with Mommy and establishing where everything needs to be, Chizuru has given multiple attempts. She has given multiple chances to Kazuya to come clean about how he feels, to make it to just make it straight with how everything should be, and he refuses to be an adult about it and to take control of the situation. This situation is completely his to control at this point. We saw that in the date. We've now seen this again with her breaking out of that time to leave her grandmother, which for all we know is dying now, to come see his family and his grandma because she wanted to celebrate She wanted to celebrate a birthday with Chizuru, and I have to tell you, Chizuru was absolutely beautiful when she arrived to the birthday celebration. And that's one thing I've always said. Ruka is my favorite girl, for all intents and purposes. But Chizuru is an absolutely beautiful girl. I love seeing her on screen. She's absolutely stunning. She's gorgeous, and she, unlike every other girl, she definitely oozes that layer of maturity. And, you know, even her coming and wanting to pay her respects to the family altar. Again, these are things that we just come to expect out of someone like Ruka. Out of Chizuru. She's an absolutely golden gem, and is a gem that is absolutely wasted on trash. So, you know, there's really not much more to say about that. I know I'm going to be frustrated this episode after what happened in the following episode, and I know that we're going to be frustrated to the end. And speaking of the end, it's 12 episodes. So after we conclude today's episode, we have 2 more episodes and we are done for the season. And I've said this for several weeks now. I'm fighting to give the show a 6, guys. I'm really fighting to give the show a 6. You know, we had moments like what he did during the alcohol thing, moments when Ruka went off on Mommy, that the show definitely bought itself at least a 6.5, because these were great moments that we have been waiting on. Shoot, the show almost got a 7 after Ruka's immaculate presentation with dealing with Mommy. And then he just goes and he does the things and he says the things and he acts in the ways that he acts now. And I realized that I'm really struggling to pass this show. I'm really struggling to pass this season. And as you will see on the screen, and this is of course per the Mal ratings, my anime list, this show it's not doing well. It's dropped another 2 points, and when the season is all said and done, I expect that it's not going to go any higher than a 6.51. So it's really just a situation now where this show has managed to be worse than the first season, even though there have been better moments like getting to see Mommy get put in her place. And I hate to say it, but most of these poor ratings is because at the end of the day, Kazuya is insufferable, and we are tired of seeing these girls waste their time on insufferable nonsense. So that's kind of that, guys, and we'll definitely see how everything plays out from this point in time as we move into this episode about Ring and Girlfriend after my girl Ruka has given him this incredibly big smooch. So before we start the reaction, this is that time of the week. So it is time for our weekly rating checkup, and we'll be checking up with the Anime Corner and Anime Trending ratings. And a big thank you to those who vote in both of those ratings. As always, this is not a segment that is part of the reaction to the show. So if you would like to skip this and skip straight to the video reaction, please click the appropriate chapter in the description. So we are going to start with Anime Corner, and we have had just a little bit of a change up here, but things are more or less still where they were. The biggest change up was actually Engage Kiss. So as you can see in the first category, and this was thanks to Saru, and apologies if I mispronounced her name, but this was our other villain that had appeared several episodes ago. She and her performance in Call of the Night actually has catapulted Call of the Night back up to #1. So just incredible stuff here. We're starting to see Licorice Recoil have to fight Call of the Night, which that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. You know, I've been saying for most of the season that Call of the Night has been a shocker with how much I've actually enjoyed it, even more of a shocker than Licorice Recoil ended up being. And it has actually made its way. I want to say this is Call of the Night's third time appearing in the #1 spot. So tremendous job to Call of the Night, to the writers of this show. You know, you have a winning formula. I said that after the first full fight happened between Nazuna and her, that this was going to be the time with this series that it was really going to break open if this show was going to stay as a top contender for the summer season or if it was going to fall flat. And Call of the Night has shown that it absolutely has a right to be considered one of the best of this season, and it is your #1 show via Anime Corner for this week. In #2, of course, is Licorice Recoil, and it barely lost out. But again, you know, Licorice Recoil had an incredibly heavy episode. However, the heavy episode was mitigated by Chisato's smile. And I can't talk enough, and I'm going to talk more about her in my Licorice Recoil reaction tomorrow when the next episode drops. But she truly made what was a horrible episode be better, because all she has ever done is smile. You know, one thing that we learned in Licorice Recoil this week is, you know, her life was never guaranteed. Even before she had her mechanical heart put in, she had chronic heart failure, and her days were always numbered. So someone like Chisato takes every day as if it's her last day. She lives those days with a smile. She lives those days with her head held high. And I can't help but have an incredible amount of respect for her. You know, I'm still very upset at the revelations that we found out this past week and what actually happened. I'm glad that Takana appeared before anything worse could be done to her. But the reality of the matter is Chisato's days are now numbered, and the revelations that happened in the episode did keep this in the top 3 in the #2 spot. However, I think one of the bigger shockers for me this past week, and I keep saying bigger and bigger because Engage Kiss was honestly more of a shocker being this high than Licorice and Call of the Night was. Engage Kiss, I want to say, had one of the most depressing episodes this season this past week. This past week of Engage Kiss sucked. It really sucked. You know, as we've watched Chu have to lose more and more of his memories in order to get back at what happened to his family. We saw incredibly stunning revelations that transpired with the demons, with the truth behind his mentor, what he got caught up in. And I will say that it was some incredibly great story writing that happened. Absolutely the strongest episode of this show so far. And you guys have agreed Engage Kiss is your number 3 show per Anime Corner with 6.46% of the votes. In number 4 was My Stepmom's Daughter Is My Ex. Now, this was a controversial episode, and I did my reaction on Thursday, yesterday, and I realized that the community is actually very mixed. So first, I didn't realize how much the community actually was starting really not to like Yume because of her personality traits and kind of just always involving herself here and there, because I've always written it off as just the woes that she and Mizuto have had throughout the season with each other. But I think that everything was put into context in this past episode. This was a very heavy episode for the show, and it was a revelation with how their relationship fell apart, which ultimately it fell apart because of basic middle school drama. And it is for that statement why I'm not mad at Yume, and I'm not mad at Mizuto. I will admit that Yume was definitely more in the wrong than Mizuto, but at the end of the day, they both made mistakes that ultimately could have been alleviated by higher levels of maturity and better communication. Something that when you are a second year in middle school, you really don't have. And so it was a pretty heavy episode, and it was your number 4 episode with 5.6, well, number 4 show of the last week with 5.61% of the votes. Vermeil and Gold, we did get to see the bronze status be achieved by none other than our ultimate duo of They Can't Stop Kissing Each Other. It was a great episode. I will say not as strong for me as some of the shows that we just talked about, and of course including My Maiden Abyss. But it was a good show this week, and it went up 2 spots to the number 5 spot with 4.98% of the votes. Summertime Rendering, I understand there were confessions galore going on in the last episode, and I still have not watched enough of the show to be able to properly talk about the show, but I am absolutely ecstatic to continue seeing that Summertime Rendering is doing as well as it is, and it did go up 2 spots with 4.92% of the votes in 6th place. Classroom of the Elite. Now, this is an interesting situation here. Classroom of the Elite fell 4 spots, and quite frankly, I thought it was one of the best episodes of the season, if not the best episode of the season. It did fall to 7th place with 4.88% of the votes. We did see the grand revelations of Kushida falling from grace. It was my greatest privilege and greatest honor to watch this with the rest of you as we watched Kushida get her ass put in her place. And if that episode wasn't enough to get you going, then I know that the next coming episodes are going to be, now that declarations have been made to take on Kanojo by both Kushida and by Ruin herself. And now Kushida has to do it by herself because she has been abandoned by Ruin now, because she is now a liability and is no longer a benefit. So with that said, Classroom of the Elite Season 2 is in 7th place with 4.88% of the votes. Shadow House is a really nice looking show, and I really need to watch it. And I have not watched it. I have to watch the first season. But you guys are absolutely still loving Shadow House. Shadow House, the 2nd season, has done tremendously well, and it actually went up 2 spots to the 8th spot with 4.46% of the votes. And so that's great to see that show is doing as well as it is. Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? This 4th season did come up 2 ranks, and it is back in the top 10, while the show has been straddling the lower 10 for a vast majority of the season. When it has appeared in the ratings, it does, in my opinion, continue to bode well, because I do believe that this is the best season of Danmachi to date, and it looks like the collective community agrees. At the time of me doing my reaction yesterday, Danmachi had a 7.90 out of 10 on Mao, which actually is its strongest season. So Danmachi is having a wonderful season. I've been glowing with how well it is executed. The drama down in the dungeon, everything that is about to transpire now from the most recent episode, and I'm happy to see that it is in the top 10. And a show that I am even happier to see in the top 10, a show that another one of my friends really, truly loves with all of her heart and soul. Number 10 spot, The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. This has been a wholesome, relatively well put together show. It's been very fun watching this show. I'm very scared for the revelations that are getting ready to come after what our girl said, where this happiness is not going to was never meant to last forever. But this show has had a tremendous run so far, and it's ending the list in number 10, up 7 spots with 3.87% of the votes. And so, again, thanks to all of you who voted there. I hope your top show did make the list, and if it didn't, I hope you are enjoying your show so far. Also, as the backup comparison, we will show anime trending, and in anime trending, in number 1 is Call of the Night. In number 2 is Licorice Recoil. In number 3 is Shadow House Season 2. And number 4 has continued to be my favorite show, Made in Abyss, the Golden City of the Scorching Sun. In number 5 is Classroom of the Elite. And number 6 is Engaged Kiss. And number 7 is My Stepmom's Daughter is My Ex. In number 8 is Vermilion Gold. And number 9 is Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. And then also ending the list, and also a re-entry to the top 10 list, is The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. So for the most part, we actually had the exact same shows appear in this one as appeared in the other one. Let me see which one it was. Oh, Summertime Rendering is the only one who did not appear in their list. But of course, for me personally, I'm very glad to see that Anime Trending continues to give my best show of the season, Made in Abyss, the love that it absolutely deserves, especially with the revelations that transpired. And for all of you who watched Made in Abyss, as you all know, Babata is about to tear shit up. And I, for one, cannot wait for her to tear that whole village up, because their lives are now forfeit. But I will talk more about all that in my future reaction next week, and you are welcome to listen to my reaction to Made in Abyss, available on my channel. So with that said, that concludes this segment of our weekly checkup on ratings. I'm going to go put some eye drops in my eye real quick, and when I'm back, we will start the reaction. Alright guys, and I'm back. Again, the title of this 10th episode is Ring and Girlfriend. Let's begin absolute travesty and destruction and the immediate aftermath of the kiss in 3, 2, 1. Also, that was an ugly tie, I have to tell you. What an ugly tie. Look at my girl right here. Wasting your time on this useless guy. I swear. What a shame. What an absolute shame. Ooh. 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 Ruka, I just want you to find someone better than this trash. This man is trash. And you got to do better for yourself than this. What is she doing? I don't know. Kissing her boyfriend. Who fucking knows? Ooh! Oh! Oh my... Yo! Ruka! Ruka! Woo! What if someone walks in? Oh my goodness! Yo! Yo! She is not stopping! It's a little too late for all that now. Bathroom break. Damn. You're gonna put yourself in a heart attack at this point, my girl. I'm gonna need you to reel and just. Oh man, that happened. Oh no. Nah. Yeah, we know that. You do need to stop this, but yeah. Listen, if you're gonna take this L anyway, but you've taken an L the second that Chooser showed up, I guess it is what it is. Dang, Ruka. Well, damn. She marked her territory all right. It's such a shame, though. Like, Ruka... you are such a beautiful girl too, but you gotta do better than this. Like, because he's not worth this. He's not worth you. I get it. It went from just your heartbeat matching to you actually truly falling in love with him. And I perfectly understand that. But since he's not making the decision to let you go, you got to do this because there's no happiness for the direction that you're headed with him. There's nothing there. It's such a shame. Again, I love Ruka to death, and I'm tired of seeing her doing this to herself. Ugh. Damn. Damn. That kiss, though. Lord, the animators had fun with that one. Also, I really hope I can deal with this chapped lips of mine soon. My goodness. My lips are just way too chapped. Took you long enough. Y'all have no idea. This girl, Ruka, went in for the kill with that ugly ass tie. I mean, I'm not mad at you at all, Ruka. What you did makes complete in your at least. Whoo! Listen, it's fine, Kaji. Let her go so that someone that could treat her better will come across her. Let me tell you, my girl. And he can't, I swear. Everything, Grandma. Everything. Why do we kiss? I mean, I don't know. Y'all supposed to be a fucking couple. I swear. Stop asking these fucking stupid questions! Or you could have just fucking stopped it. Forced her way. Yes, you did. Because you never let her go. 6 months. Wasting everyone's fucking time. And you're wasting it on the wrong one, my girl. Yes. I don't know because you're supposed to be with... Oh my God. If you're sorry, let her go! It is your fault! The ring. Oh, this episode is a mess! A mess! Oh no! Grandma, you have no idea what you just did. All of these issues could have been averted ages ago. I mean, I'll agree that it was definitely a bit on the top high side of things. I don't know if you're working yourself out of this one, my girl. I mean, she can do this better than you can. I don't know. What do you think? Because this has been a complete train wreck for her now. Oh! No, you don't fucking say. What you needed to do needed to be done months ago before we ever ended up in this situation. It's too late now. We're just gonna have to let it ride. What are you gonna say? Don't open your fucking mouth. Oh, you're not gonna say it. You're not gonna say it. You don't have the balls. You don't have the balls. You won't do it. You won't do it. You won't do it. You won't do it. Either way, you suck. Oh my goodness. So now you want to care about what you put my girl Ruka through? Oh, now you care. Stop talking internally and just say it. Oh my God. You won't do it. You won't do it because you're talking internally too much, you fucking donkey. Every time there's a fucking... Oh no. Oh no. Why is the hospital calling? Oh no. Oh no. Don't y'all dare! Don't y'all dare! Oh, fuck! She should have never left that hospital. Something didn't feel right either. Oh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Girl, you can't be doing that, girl. Lord have mercy if... Oh man. Honestly, you helped with this situation. Hell no. And you best not have done. Please don't waste your time doing something like that. Your grandma is far more important. Well, on the bright side, this situation helped break that absolutely destructive situation that was about to happen. Well, I mean, I guess he was thinking of actually ending it. Maybe, maybe not. He would have punked out. But given the situation, who knows? We never know with this guy anymore. That's not good news. Oh no. She doesn't have long left. Fuck. Damn, my girl. Oh. And gonna drop her dead right where she sits. Lord have mercy. When he wants to do this, of course. I mean, it's respected you want to clean it up now, but of course, right after she has this health ailment, you decide you want to actually do. At all. Oh, now you care about that? I mean, this is kind of what happens when a lie like that drags for so long, and I don't blame her. Telling her grandma that now really ain't gonna help her, and she gonna probably drop dead from a heart attack. I mean, again, all of these things could have been averted ages ago. Well, her health situation would not have been, in fairness, but had you just been more transparent earlier, we could have avoided most of all of this now. Because I don't blame Chizuru. Why would she want to put her grandma through that? Her grandma's not going to make it through the end of this season. It's a crappy situation. She's not. Oh, she's not going to make it this season. I mean, I think now's a better time than ever to make your move now, my dude. Because right now, the best thing you can do is be here for her. And to not be awkward about it. Just to be there for her. And just to be her strength. Like, oh my goodness. I mean, no. And um, that was good of you to check. Well, I mean, Ruka, Ruka, which I respect that. You know, I wondered how Ruka was going to respond to the whole ordeal. That was really good of her for how she handled this in this episode. Oh my god, my girl. Ah! That was good on you, Ruka. Though that was fine. Ruka is conscious of the fact that this is not the time, and I respect that. But it's your. Yes, we've been saying this for 2 fucking seasons now, you absolute donkey. Oh, I don't know. Actually, set things straight for once and go ahead and give Ruka a definitive answer and focus on this girl who literally is having the worst time of her life right now. Because Ruka showed, even though you did show care, she showed a lot more care and sensitivity to that in just that short statement she made. Oh. Oh my god, my girl Ruka. Guys, wow. Alright, so, I really wanted to spend this post reaction talking about the antics that happened at the first, and I guess I will for just a brief moment. But just like what was stated in the episode, there are more important matters to attend to. Obviously, the animators loved every bit of that kiss at the start, and my goodness, as a Team Ruka fan, my girl was, good gracious, Ruka. That was some next level stuff that she was in there doing. And so of course they went back into awkward terms, and when the ring came out, I know the episode was Ring and Girlfriend, so it was very clear as day that a ring of some sort. Now I didn't know if it was going to be a promise ring, and I kind of had a feeling it was going to probably be his grandma that was going to do it. But it just, all of those shenanigans in the first couple of minutes were overshadowed by what looks like will be our heavy conclusion to this show, to this season. And it's, what we kind of feared, with her grandma being in the hospital the other day, and her grandma's been in the hospital for a bit now. It was very clear that Chizuru's grandma wasn't doing good. We've known this for a little bit now. And I think that, when situations like this happens, this is where truly it makes or breaks, a bond that you may have with a person, is when you are faced with an unknown situation quite as this. And something that even Ruka understood, it wasn't the time and it wasn't the place. That everything that was happening at that point paled in comparison to what happened when Chizuru rolled up in that room, and you could see the fear and the terror on her face. And, for all of us who have had a loved one that, we've lost, which is pretty much all of us, we've all had to experience loss in one way or another. I can tell you there's no fear like it. There's no fear like it, and it never gets easier. I've lost a lot of family myself, quite a few close people, quite a few close friends. And it never gets easier when you get that call that someone that you loved, you cherish, someone that you may have just recently spent time with, is suddenly knocking on death's door. And the reality is that we can all be called home one day. And so, for Chizuru, man, I felt for her. It's a shitty situation. It's a shitty situation. And I will say I am very glad that even in Kazuya's ridiculous antics, even he settled himself down enough to realize this is really bad. And that as far as what Ruka did with the kiss, as far as any competition going on, that all of that pales in comparison to not wanting to see another human have to look the way that she did. I think that she terrified everyone when she walked in that room. Even Ruka included, and no one wants to see someone like that. So, as far as and I'll say Ruka's behavior first, and then I'll talk about Kazuya. For Ruka's behavior, very classy of her at the end of the episode, because we didn't know what her initial response was to the ordeal that happened. But this gave me further respect for Ruka. Ruka understood that this isn't the time and it isn't the place. That it was a really shitty situation and ordeal to be through. And while she obviously cares about establishing her turf and establishing who Kazuya is to her, and when she said she even reaffirmed the love that she has for him, she understands that right now the focus, in one way or another, needs to be on Chizuru. And she even understands that right now that is a time that really he needs to be there for her. So I'm very proud of Ruka for that. That showed growth, that showed maturity. Obviously she knows that she really fell into her emotions when Chizuru showed up at the house. And I will say that, it's bad as it is to say that this scene could not have happened at a better time. For better or worse, it probably is good that ended up happening when it did. Which now brings me back to Kazuya. So, do I believe Kazuya was about to actually confess? Well, you saw me standing up and sitting. Well, I stood up and I guess I walked off screen for a moment, and I was incredibly frustrated because I didn't believe he was going to do anything, because our track record with Kazuya is so abysmally poor that I have zero faith in his ability to do that. And if that phone call had not happened, I'm sure he would have just continued with internal monologue to the end of time about what he should or should not do. But regardless, if we're going to say that was the time, I will say this is the one time in this show that we've had, we say a cock block or interference or whatever you want to pronounce it as. This is the one time that was a reasonable and understandable interruption to the affairs of what was being discussed, primarily because we know that Chizuru had just left the hospital. We knew that her grandma was not doing very well at the time of her visit. She was worried, which is why she didn't want to leave. And, it just, when the phone rung, I just knew, we all knew. And it did feel appropriate for the circumstance. So this is truly one of the few times that I'll say I don't feel we got cock blocked or anything like that. I do not feel that an unnecessary interruption happened. And so Kazuya, for the first and only time in this show's history, will get a free pass from me for the fact that that there was nothing admitted in this specific set of circumstances. Now, this does not excuse the fact that he should have confessed all of this ages ago, but I will give him that pass for this specific episode, because this set of circumstances sucked. It sucked ass, and I really feel terrible for Chizuru right now. And I think, again, there are just those fictional characters that, whether it be fictional or in real life, that you really just feel for, and it just hits hard to home. I've gotten those type of calls, and it sucks. It sucks. It really sucks. So, so with that said, I think that it is this appropriate moment to say that for Kazuya, this is his definitive moment now. This is where it will truly make or break, if there is ever going to be any redemption that I'll have in my eyes for him, is how he will be here for her through what is sadly about to be one of the worst moments of her life. It is very clear that we are probably going to lose her grandma before the season is over, if not right when the season ends. Now I know next episode we did see that Sumi is back in the play of things, and I'm always happy and looking forward to seeing Sumi. But above all, I am very interested to see if Kazuya is going to gain any sense of responsibility, of maturity, and of understanding that there is no better time now than to be there for her and to go ahead and set things right. And when I say set things right, I'm not talking about him breaking things off anymore. He's about to see Chizuru in one of her most vulnerable states. And, when we see people that we claim we love in their vulnerable states, this is truly when character and morale and who you are as a person inside really comes to shine. And despite all of his antics that have caused me to completely put this show in 5 territory forever, this is his time to tell me that I should give this show above a 6. This is his opportunity to save any grace that I have of Kazuya in this season. This is his time. And I promise you, if he finds a way to make a complete and utter mess of this, if he finds a way to make things more awkward and more unforgiving than he already has, I will fail this show with a 4 and I will not watch the next season. I promise you that. I promise you that. I am really sensitive to what Chizuru's going through now. If you haven't noticed with how I've been talking, and I'm very proud of Ruka's performance this episode, even through the kiss and everything. I'm proud of her showing a high level of maturity and understanding and sensitivity to this, and now all eyes are on Kazuya's actions. And if Kazuya finds a way to even make being there for her in her worst and most vulnerable state, if he finds a way to mess this up in ways that we know he can, even though he shouldn't be able to mess this up, if he does find a way, I will fail this show with a 4. I promise you that. I promise you that. And this will be it for me for Rent-A-Girlfriend. So, we are now at a very revelating moment in this series, and I can't wait to see how our final 2 episodes are going to play out. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this reaction up. So thank you so much for watching. I definitely was not expecting this episode to take the turn that it did, but it did take that turn, and it has definitely now put what our end game is going to be as we move into the final 2 episodes of the season. I hope you guys liked the reaction and liked the episode. If you did, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And if you want to be one of the first to be notified when a new reaction becomes available, hit the bell icon. So with that said, I will see all of you wonderful people next week for the 11th episode of Rent-A-Girlfriend Season 2. The title of the episode is Guide and Girlfriend. Until that time, catch you later.